Yeah, I could definitely pee on a girl, but I don't think I could get peed on. Unless she told me she was squirting, then I'd take it. But
You don't think
intentional piss.
that's where you draw the line? It's intentional piss.
I mean, I probably would draw, like, an intentional piss is not really.
I just want to be clear. I didn't take this
I
here. You
not,
brought
I
it
might,
here.
I might not cut it right there.
All right, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of Detroit Comedy Podcast. I never know how to open these things. Our guest today from the Weed Bar Podcast, from Buffed Up, from The Mule, featured on Breakfast Club, and soon on November 5th, A Very Hood Christmas.
Yes, sir.
J. Will, Justin Wilson, comic J. Will. That's how everybody knows you, right?
I mean, know about
a
the
man
government.
of many names.
I ain't know about the middle one, but yeah, the other two is cool.
How's it going, man?
It's going good, man.
You were here. You're here all weekend. This weekend, you were here last night. You had a
Yeah.
killer set. You
Thanks, man.
absolutely destroyed last night.
Thanks,
honestly, it was a great show.
Yeah,
I mean,
had
honestly,
a great time, man. Energy was there. The crowd was dope. You guys did great, right? That's the big part about it. You know, the people that come up before you, the comedians, kind of set the tone. Like if somebody goes up and has a terrible set or a down set or a groggy set, then you have to work extra hard just to get the energy back up in the room. But you guys came out and set a great tone. So it was easy just to come out and follow behind you guys and have a good set.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't usually feature here. This is actually the first time I featured here. I was sort of filling in. I mean, I featured all over the place. It's not an irregular thing. It's just the first time I've done it here at this club, and it was just filling in, for
Good
Ronnie
vibe,
Chanel. Man. Yeah. But it was a good show, and then Nate Armbruster was hosting.
Yeah.
He's back in town.
Did great, man.
Yeah. It was a good show, man.
You know, when the stars align, you know what I'm saying? It just happens like that, you know.
Yeah, it's a great room. I mean, it's a cool room, and this is like your first time headlining here in this room, but you have performed, I think, in every other room that exists in Detroit.
Yeah, man.
I don't think there's a room that exists in Detroit that's done comedy that you haven't performed in at this point.
I tried, man. You know, so comedy is the one thing that you can mistakenly work hard at. You know what I'm saying? So in so many words, all I have to do is show up and get on stage and I can work on my craft. So it's not like I'm purposely going up there to do anything, or it's just organically happens. The more and more you get on stage, the better you get. And I was like, oh, well, that's easy. I can do that.
How long have you been doing this now?
About 10, 11 years.
10, 11 years now?
I started when my son, 12 now.
12?
My son is 12. I started when I had my son. I didn't know how to take care of him, and then I had went to school or nothing like that, and I didn't want to just be one of them dads that just, making ends meet and stuff. So I was like, I got to find a way to make some money to take care of my son. So I knew how to be funny. That's how, but I did my whole life, you know what I'm saying? And I had tried to do stand-up maybe 10 years previous, and I went to California, and I bombed. So I didn't know the comedy game. I just thought, like, when you bomb, the whole world knows, and there's no coming back from it, you know what I'm saying? So I just came back home and started doing telemarketing and stuff and doing regular jobs. And my sister ended up moving to California and called me and was like, why you stop doing comedy? I was like, because I went down there and bombed that time. She's like, I just saw Dave Chappelle bomb last night. What are you talking about? She's like, everybody bombs down here. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. Nobody told you? I'm like, no. So when she let me know that, she came down here. We started going to some open mics, and the rest is history for real.
Detroit audiences are different, too. I mean, very different than West Coast audiences, but it's like also Detroit audiences are different than any audience.
Anywhere.
Like I've performed in a lot of different states, a lot of different areas, and it's like I know you have as well. And it's like there's no audiences quite like Detroit. Like even Dave Chappelle said it. He's like, there's nothing like Detroit. It's like, it's why he did 7 nights here and recorded that special. He's like, I wanted to record a special in Detroit because there's no other city like it. He's like, it's a weird city to do comedy in, man.
Detroit lets you know if you have lost your edge or your relatability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the one thing about Detroit. They want to relate. If they can't relate, they're not going to laugh. They don't care how long it took you to come up with this premise and this great joke that you think you're a comedic genius for writing. Like, they don't care. Like, talk about this man's shoes right here in front of my face, or who he looks like, or what I just did yesterday, or talk about what I'm going through with my baby mama or my kids. If I can't hear that, then, you know, that's pretty much what they want you to pretty much feel like you wrote these jokes for them.
Yeah, I think it's somebody told me early on about like Detroit audiences. They're like, when you're performing in Detroit, they're like, and you know, just this area in general, it's like people want a genuine you. Like
Exactly.
they don't they hate it when you're just gonna come up there with goofy, corny jokes that's very surface level and
Exactly.
like you're not really saying anything.
Yeah.
And like you see it a lot here. It's like those comics, it's harder for them to thrive here in Detroit.
It's hard.
It's like they either adapt or move out, usually. It's like is what you see a lot of times where it's like if that's like stylistically what they're going for, I feel a lot of comics in Detroit tend to either start going a different direction or they move on to a different state where, you know, I think they can refine that craft a little better because there's nothing wrong with that style. I think it's harder to work with that, it seems, in a lot of the rooms here.
It's just like, let's say Chief Keef is doing a concert, and Chief Keef has a whole lot of white fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his white fans go to his concert, and he gets to the concert and start coding and tries to relate with them. And they're like, what the fuck, Chief? Like, we know who you are.
Yeah.
So why would you come here and be somebody different when you see us and we already know who the fuck we're coming to see?
Mm-hmm.
Just give us the guy that we know. Like, you don't have to try to connect with us. Just be yourself, and we'll connect with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? Is that no matter what room you're in, you have to read your crowd based on your material, but your delivery and how you talk and your material is just gonna be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, if I got kids here, you know, just tuck the dick and pussy jokes up or, you know, whatever. But
how often are you performing for kids these days?
that was just basically an example. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
I was like, are you actually doing that recently? I was like,
you know, sometimes we do the little high school tours and stuff like that. But, you know, yeah, not too often.
That stuff's weird, though.
Weird.
I mean,
you got to try to relate to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of church a lot of church comedy that happens in Detroit
I love them.
too. You
do
do it? Yeah.
I love them. Now, the church shows I do look. I grew up in church.
Okay.
So imagine being somewhere where you can completely talk about a subject and know they're going to understand everything. Like, it's nothing that they won't get. You can talk about praying in tongues. You can talk about any scripture in the Bible, anything about Jesus, anything about dance, and however they act in church, and you know that they know everything you're talking about. So it's like barbecue chicken for real. It's like, man, I know exactly what to tell y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you think those rooms are like easier in a sense for you then?
Yeah, because it's just
you know what they want.
The only thing not easier about them is I can find myself running out of material faster. Like in a church, at about 30 minutes, I'm looking around like, okay, can this joke be cleaned up and not be offensive? But as far as the right down the pocket that I know is good, about 30, 45 minutes, I'm looking around like, yeah, I'm running out. Now, a guy like Mike Leary,
yeah,
he could do it for 2-3 hours because his set is clean. Like, he does clean, but his jokes are still hilarious, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like he can sit up there and hold court as long as he wants, but for a certain amount of time, yeah, I could.
I think that's a very funny thing that I think most people wouldn't think about. That comics, I think most comics know this feeling, is when you realize you're in a cleaner room and you are about to do a joke and you're like, oh no. how do I clean this up? And you're still telling the other joke. Like, you're telling another joke in that moment.
But thinking about
but
that
you're
one
thinking
coming
about
up.
like in a minute or two what I have to say and what I got to be cutting out of that thing and still allow it to be funny somehow. How am I going to still make this funny and edit it on the fly? Like, while you're trying to say the other words and not say the words that you're thinking about.
And even worse is being in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And realizing this is not going.
It
like
happened to me.
Even with me cleaning it up, it's still that I shouldn't have gotten to this bag.
It happened to me at an ice cream shop in Ferndale. I was performing at an ice cream. Yeah, it was a random show. I got paid. Hey, man.
That's dope.
I got paid, and I told some jokes, and people laughed at it, and I got free ice cream, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like craft ice cream, like
good
Ferndale
show.
ice cream.
Yeah, man, it's a little date, if you want to take
exactly.
a chick with
It was fine. It was okay. It was cool. But, like, the thing was, they're like, we need you to be clean if there's any, like, families in here. If there's not families in here when you're performing, it's fine, just kind of be cool about it, within boundaries. And I was like, all right, yeah, no problem. And then, like, I start doing a joke, and I'm in the middle of a joke, and then a family walks in through the front doors while I'm in the middle of the joke, and, like, I'm like, oh no, like, right as I'm about to go into the punchline, that's like a sex joke with cursing in it, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, like, I'm just like it's in a matter of seconds, because, like, the doors are like behind you to your left, kind of, like, and, like, so you're performing out this way, and then I just hear the doors open and look over in the middle of my
Did you do it?
Yeah, I started trying to pull words out, and then I just pulled too many words out, and I think the sentence didn't even make sense, and people were like, what are you even trying to say? Oh, like, they just kind of looked at me, and I was like, I had to edit that because a kid just, like, I just got honest about it. I was like, I'm going to be honest what happened here. I was like, but we'll do something else. Let's move on. I would have had to
let the kid have it, man. Like, I can't ruin my career because you to that kid.
I was like, I'm also not trying to ruin the relationship that this show producer has with the venue because I have to tell my dick joke. You know what I mean?
And you might want to go back to the ice cream place. You know what I'm saying?
I also don't want to, my friend's got a good thing going, and I don't want to screw them over either, and get them in trouble with the venue.
Like, we want to work with you, but your friend came and said
you're booking people
twice.
who, exactly. There was kids who walked in,
Yeah, that'd be dope, man. Just let them grow up a little bit.
It's a weird thing, man.
Was that one of, like, the weirdest places you've been booked at, like the ice cream parlor?
I've done some weird places. I mean, like, I think in Metro Detroit, there's a lot of. It'll take you weird places, man. It'll take you strange places where you're like, this is really cool. I didn't even know this existed, and then also places where you're like, I wish this didn't exist. You're like, I don't know why I'm here right now. Like,
and a certain, like, you always know it's gonna be something wild when people ask, do you do private shows? Like, do you do private? You're like, okay, what do I have to do? So they call you, and you end up at a nursing home for like a 95th birthday. Everybody's almost dead. Alzheimer's. They don't remember.
Do you have a worst private show that you've done? Have you done a private show where you're like, this one stands out?
Wow.
Or even a show that you've done. Is there a place you've performed at where you're just like, what the fuck am I doing here?
No microphone.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Wow. And we actually used a knife.
Where was it?
Like
a knife?
just to kind of give you some type of, like, make you think that you kind of got, and it brain fucks you to think that you got a mic, you know what I'm saying? So we actually did a whole show on a knife, man. It was like this little banquet hall or whatever. It wasn't that bad of a location, but it was the knife was crazy. The knife was crazy.
And then I went to Atlanta. Kitchen knife or just
this is a regular butter knife.
A butter knife.
Doing set on a butter knife, man.
That's almost sadder. I don't. It's like I had somebody who didn't have a microphone once, and they're like, I can give you the microphone but no speaker, and you can just like pretend like.
Yeah, that'd have been different. I could have did
it,
but this was.
I was like, I'd rather just not have a mic than pretend that I got a working mic.
This was a knife, man. And then in Atlanta, I actually did a show where, like, you've never seen this much random activity going on during a comedy show. For one, over here they got a skateboard ramp. These cats is doing skateboard shits and all that. And over here they got the basketball cages where you can shoot shots, and then it's a camera booth over here, and then somebody's doing fire over here. But all of that shit is going on simultaneously while you're trying to do your set. And it's like, I don't even want to be up here right now. I want to do some of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was one of the most, but that actually was dope that day. You know, I thought it was gonna be crazy, but it was funny. It was like everybody did their separate things. Like the people for the comedy show actually were there and enjoyed that. These guys were still doing their skateboard tricks. These guys were still doing their basketball, but it was controlled chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so it's like doing comedy at like one of those axe throwing bars or something. You know, just in the background, you just doof doof doof,
rock
doof like the whole time. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like one of those adventure parks or something, right? Yeah, where they just got a bunch of shit going.
It was Atlanta, you know.
Yeah.
Anytime you make it out of Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, you just feel good, like I made it home. You know?
Is that your favorite place outside of Detroit?
No way.
No way. Where's your favorite place outside of Detroit?
Southfield.
I
don't like leaving too far.
Outside of Detroit, that's still Detroit. if you go south, if you go to Ohio, that's still Detroit.
That's too far, man. You know, probably like Southfield, not Ferndale, maybe Royal Oak every once in a while. But I kind of like Detroit, man.
That was one of the things I first heard about you. I remember when I started stand up. There, people were like, "Man, Jay Will is a comic who kills, but he just doesn't leave Detroit.
No.
He stays in Detroit, man." And Jay Will likes Detroit, though. He works enough to stay in Detroit.
But I did though. I will go. I just don't really know how to do that, and I don't know how to find the other rooms. So I'm getting into that now. I'm about to start traveling and just trying to find the other rooms and see where everybody is. Like I gotta get. I don't know, but I used to come to. I started out. What's the rum room in Ferndale? Like on 9.5 New Way.
New Way Bar.
I started at New Way, and
Who was hosting it when you started? Because when I started going there, it was Amit Jain. You remember Amit?
Might have been who was there, or it might have been the one guy that was like in the Insane Clown Possie.
There was a guy in the Insane Clown Possie.
He was a comedian.
He might have been a juggalo. I don't know if he was an Insane Clown Posse.
I don't know. He used to dress up though with him and used to be on the road.
Yeah,
with
okay.
him.
He was probably just a juggalo then.
Yeah.
I don't think he's one of the two dudes.
There's only two of them.
There's only two of them.
Yeah,
there's a lot of juggalos.
Man.
There's a lot of adjacent, I feel like juggalo rappers too. Just a lot of dudes who look like they're in Insane Clown Posse.
He used to travel with him.
Yeah,
he probably wasn't one of them.
Yeah,
okay, I see what you're saying.
I know a bunch of dudes who travel with him from Michigan. Yeah. We have a dude who comes here and shoots photos for us regularly. Josh Ulrich, shout out Josh Ulrich. He comes here and he'll shoot photos sometimes. Great photographer, and he's actually the producer for Shaggy Two Dope's podcast. One of the main two guys at Insane Clown Posse. Cool. They moved him here from out of state to start producing the podcast for him and everything, and that's what he does full time now.
Are they still touring and stuff like that?
I think they're on their final tour or something like that. I believe they just announced a final tour because the one dude, Violent J, is getting older and ill or something, But I think
what was their
they're
biggest
getting
hit?
older, man.
What blew them up?
I don't know totally. I think the album that I hear about is called The Great Malenko. Okay. That's the one that sort of I guess put them on the map. But they came on the map in that same new metal era with Kid Rock and a lot of Limp Bizkit and stuff.
Didn't they
right
wrestle
around
for a minute?
then. What?
Didn't they wrestle for a minute?
They did. They're still involved in the amateur wrestling circuit and stuff. It's weird, man. I know a lot about them for somebody who's not a juggler.
Yeah, I can tell.
I find them very fascinating, the idea of what they've created. They've got an amazing business.
Yeah, they went crazy, bro.
They've created their own T-shirt printing. They print all their own merch. They create all their own merch and everything. Everything's made in-house, their own record label. Everything they sell, merch, CDs, anything. It's all 100% them. Damn. They're running, and then they got all these artists that they've signed now who are majorly successful, who they've put on through their festivals and co-signed and stuff. Yeah. It's nuts. They've created a whole entire marketplace universe within their own sort of juggalo community. And it's like, it's awesome to see somebody that's created something like
From
that.
scratch. Yeah, for
like
sure.
these dudes found their niche and just leaned into it hard. And like they're like, this is what we're doing.
Because nobody else would have believed in it. Like, you guys gonna be clowns? Are you serious?
Yeah.
But
And,
it
and
took
in
off.
Detroit in like the 90s too, like they were
Took
like,
off.
and yeah, it's weird that they even excelled. It feels like in that era almost.
And
like
then I think, didn't they get into some type of thing with Eminem or something like that?
yeah, they
So
made
that was big. That was good.
they remixed the real Slim Shady and called it Slim Anus. It was
Yeah.
just basically about Eminem being gay. For like it was wild. Like I've heard the song in recent
that's
years,
where Slim
and
said,
I'm like,
damn right, Slim Anus.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've heard it. I listened to it in recent years, and I was like, I can't imagine somebody putting something out like this now. Like
Is it wild?
It's a whole song. They remixed the whole song and made it just about Eminem being gay, and like that's the whole joke. Is just like how gay they can call him, like essentially, and the things that they can say. It's wild. Where I'm like, I can't imagine somebody releasing this now. This would not fly in
LGBT
today's
would kill
climate.
'em.
No, in today's climate, you'd be done.
Yeah.
Like
For
it's wild.
Yeah. Now you can't do it.
But it's interesting because like it seems like. From what I could see from an outside perspective, like the one dude, Violent J, who's not going to be able to tour anymore, he seems like a great father, which sounds crazy, but I mean, maybe not. You know, like the guy who dresses up like a clown and raps,
Insane
like
Clown,
you know what I
though.
mean? Like he seems like a great father. Like I've seen like these images of him, like he takes his daughter like these
They look
furry
fun. Yeah,
conventions
they
and
look fun.
stuff. Yeah, like he goes to furry conventions with their and like
What,
yeah.
the plush toys? Like?
Yeah, like where people dress up like furry animals,
Wow.
you know? Okay, like and then like they have like
I
these
thought
big
that
furry.
was like a fetish.
I think it is, but like his daughter's into them. I got like into that thing. And, like there's a picture. Violent J has his own furry costume, and they've like gone to this furry convention together. And I was like, I think like 16, 17 maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
But maybe she's an adult. I really don't know. But what I'm
Maybe
saying
it's cool
is,
to be into it at this
seems
age.
like he's like a cool dad. He's like, I'm gonna dress up like a furry too. I'll
Yeah.
take you to this thing that you're into. Which I'd be like,
I'm not gonna judge
that's
you.
what. Yeah, exactly. And that's like what you could, I guess, ask out of a father. I mean, right? Like
Yeah.
you're a dad. You probably try and be supportive of the
Yeah,
things that your
man.
son is into, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't take him to a plushie if he got into that, you know.
Your son comes to you and says, "Dad, I want to go to a furry convention."
And he's dressed up already like Ted or something. Like, yeah, I'm not going, son. I can't. Because I don't know what would I be? What would I dress up as?
What if he's like, "You don't have to dress up, Dad. I just want you to come to the furry convention with me, Dad."
But then it's like a catch-22 because I feel like I'm missing out on an experience. You know what I'm saying? It might have.
But then what if you go
I
there and
might
like
liked it.
then you see your friend there and you find
Yeah.
out your buddy's at the
Like, hey,
convention
man,
too?
this shit kind of dope. Huh? Hey, we talking to each other on the side. Hey, I like this shit, man. It's kind of fun, bro. It might be though, man.
And then it's just you and Violent J, and you and Violent J become great friends all of a sudden. And then
Yeah.
you get in with the Juggalo
But
community.
then they all take their heads off, and it's all beautiful bitches under these costumes. Like, what? This is the community?
I'm betting there's at least
There's
50%
some
are.
gorgeous. They're
Yeah,
gorgeous.
for sure.
Some of 'em are
Yeah,
gorgeous, for
absolutely.
sure.
You gotta be. I mean, like, there's gotta be gorgeous ones who just have, a unique kink.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
You always see a gorgeous chick with a weird guy. Like, why is she with him? But he probably like golden showers or something he likes that she does or whatever.
Yeah.
I could do a golden shower. I just can't take one. Yeah, I could definitely pee on a girl, but I don't think I could get peed on. Unless she told me she was squirting, then I'd take it. But
You don't think
intentional piss.
That's where you draw the line. It's intentional piss.
I mean, I probably would draw like an intentional piss is not really.
I just want to be clear. I didn't take this
I
here.
might
You
not-
brought
I
it
might-
here.
I might not cut it right there. You know what I'm saying? I might, depending on what tip I'm on and who this chick is. Like, it's definitely some women in the world that could pee on me. Like, I mean, not all of them, but I can. Like, Rhianna could piss on me, or like, and it's some. I'm not gonna make it seem like you got to be Rhianna. It's some under that can go for it. But
there's some under Rhianna.
yeah, way,
You're generous.
way under.
Very generous of you.
Nah, you can't shit on me. And I don't want to shit on you either. That I could draw the line at that. Like I don't, cause it's in the room still. We got to smell this. It's making a mess. You know what I'm saying?
And none of these are at-home activities, I feel like.
I mean, I pissed in my own bed before. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like that's a big deal. Like everybody pissed in the bed. Now you're not about to shit in my house, not unless it's in the toilet. But you're not about to. We're not about to have random shit at that. Like, yeah, that's definitely for the room.
That's for the
you
hotel.
just tell them to keep the incidentals. Like, yeah, just keep that little 150, man. I fucked this room up. Like,
I understand.
Yeah, I shitted in the bed. So just keep the little 150.
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough incidentals for real.
I don't know. I mean, I felt like we didn't get an incidental. Me and my wife just got married. I keep wanting to say my fiance. We just got married like the other week, and so we just got married. Thanks. But we just got married, and when we were at the hotel in Vegas, we had like the rose petals on the floor, and I'm like, whichever person has to come clean this up. Like already, that sucks. That sucks already. But furthermore, somebody fucked. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a question.
It was some wild monkey sex going on in here.
Like, there's rose petals here. Like, that's like a signal. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm like a maid and I walk into a room and there's rose petals, I'm like, fuck. Like, immediately. I'm like, this one's gross. I know it's gonna be gross.
I have left a room feeling like not imagining that somebody had to come clean it up. Like, ooh, somebody got to fix this. Like, there's rubbers everywhere. I know I did a lot of things here I wasn't supposed to do. It might be chocolate syrup all over the sheets and just wild shit. But I'm like, somebody has to come in here and clean this up, man. That's crazy.
And they got to debate whether that's actually chocolate syrup or whether whether your line did get pushed that night.
Bro. Yeah, man, it's just the room. That got to be one of the worst jobs, man. Is cleaning up a hotel room.
Yeah,
because it's only for emergencies or whatever you're there for. You're gonna find some way to fuck. Like, I don't think I've ever been in a hotel room and didn't fuck.
Yeah,
like I could be in a hotel room by myself and I'm a fuck. Like, that's what you gotta understand. Like, I'm not about to waste this room. I'm busting a nut in here. Like, even if I didn't have sex, I'm gonna have one of the most explicit jack off sessions you ever seen in your life. Like, sound up, everything.
I'll wake up 30 minutes early before checkout just to make sure if I fell asleep early the night before.
Something's popping in this room. Like, I'm gonna say something.
I got 30 minutes till checkout.
All these towels and all this shit. Yeah, I clean up. Yeah, that's one thing. If I get a room, something going on in there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make a stark transition here back into comedy. I don't know how we got all the way over here.
Man,
it happened. I wanted to ask though, because you started a little bit of the Detroit scene before I did. What did the Detroit scene look like when you started? What were the rooms you were doing when you first started?
Crazy. Well, first, I started
because it doesn't look the same, obviously, anymore. It was.
No.
It's changed a lot over the years.
And then I started in. The rooms I started at were random. Like the open mics I were doing, it might be a guy in there with an acoustic guitar and then another person with a puppet and a ventriloquist.
Jane Dab. No,
yeah,
I'll edit the name out there. I don't know. There's one person that's a person in the local scene who always has a puppet.
I used to go to Go Comedy. We used to go to Joey's. A lot of places that aren't out anymore. And then I start going into the so-called hood rooms like Mandy's and Blackberry's, and them shits was lean on me, like you would literally fear for certain people that you knew that had no business in there. Like, oh man, they about to fuck him
Bakers. Man,
Bakers. Well, Bakers.
It was a good room, but
when Kool-Aid was there.
Yeah, but I know so many people who were just like, their story of Baker's was I went to Baker's and I ate shit. Like I felt like I knew so many comics that just felt like they couldn't cut it at Baker's. That seemed to be a room when I started at least.
Was it comic? Were there it might have been comics that were may not been ready to be at Baker's yet.
I think that was some of it, yeah.
Like it wasn't the Joshes and the Mikes and the Simplies.
It wasn't the people who had already been doing it and like polished it up. Baker's felt like it felt like a very honest room too. Yeah. Like it's like a room that wouldn't cut you any slack. It's it was comics that I felt like were starting to do well. And they felt like that as well. But Baker's was one of those rooms where if you were starting to feel like you were getting good at comedy, they would let you know if you're actually good at comedy.
Because it was Kool-Aid's room, so it was close to, or if, I'm not going to say equal to, but it was comedians around the same level of Kool-Aid and his comrades that were coming to do comedy. So it usually always ended up being the upper echelon of comedy in Detroit up there. So to even get a guest spot, you would probably have to be there 30 minutes early. And he might only let one or two people that, hadn't really proved themselves or that he didn't know go up. But it actually turned into a veteran room, kind of. It's like, you can go up if you want to, but Kool-Aid set the tone of what kind of room it is. Like, it's like if Kevin Hart got a room or if Dave Chappelle has a room, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be their comedian friends that show up. Chris Rock might show up, or Eddie Murphy might show up, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah. These are the Eddie Griffin and the GOATs are going to show up because that's who's hosting his room. So his friends show up. And now it turns into, a Comic View or a Def Jam reunion. And at any point in time, you got 4 or 5 legends in the room, and the crowd is basically used to that level of comedy in there. So
that makes sense then. Why it would be that way and why it always appeared like such a hard room, I think, is because the expectations were so high.
Yeah.
I always felt very good about like I went up there like one time. Like I met I went in and JD, JD's wrestler. He vouched for me. I went in and he was like, "This is Kyle." He's like, "You should put this dude up." I'd been doing stand-up for about maybe 3.5, 4 years at that point. Yeah. And like he was like, "This is Kyle. He's got it. He can do it." And like he's like, he's good. And then like I remember Kool-Aid goes, he's like, "JD, the last time you brought me a white boy, he wasn't good. You're not lying to me this time, are you?" He goes, no, I swear, this one's good.
No, it sounds like Kool-Aid for real.
Yeah, he's like, no, I swear, this time. Yeah. Like, his exact words were, "You brought me a white boy last time, but he wasn't good." And I was like, all right.
But I've seen you. Yeah, I've seen you in black rooms. You always... I'm
always very genuine to myself. I'm not changing my act at any point for any room or anything, and I think that's like a big problem that I think happens with a lot of white comics who go into black rooms. But I don't really alter my act or anything. I'm gonna do the same exact shit, and it's like if you don't fuck with me or like what I do, it's like that's your own prerogative. I'm being myself, and I like what I do. Yeah. And it's like, and if you don't like it. Some people do, and I know people do, and it's like, fuck it. And like, but I went in there, and I know people who like went in and did Baker's, and they're like, Kool-Aid lit me after like a couple minutes or so, or like 5 minutes. He let me do 15, and I felt so good about that. People were like, "He let you do 15?" I was like, "He let me do 15." I don't know. I was like, he just let me run it.
And from there, I saw you go from there. Then I think I saw you at Punchline. You did great at Punchline. Where else did I see you at?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things though where I think it's like.
But every time I saw you, it was a awkward comfortability though. It was like he's comfortable, but he's forcing the audience to get out their comfort zone and fuck with what he on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why I was like, oh yeah, he dope, bro.
It's like I think it's easier too when like you basically I grew up right on like Pontiac Waterford there, so it's like I went to Waterford Mott where the year where they shut down one of the Pontiac high schools and half their
Everybody
population.
came
Yeah,
together, yeah.
exactly, and it's just like it's always been that way for me even since elementary school. So it's like I've had every culture. They're like we got a lot of like Latino people in Pontiac too.
Yeah.
Like the apartment complex that was next to me was 100% Latino.
Damn.
Just like Puerto Rican flags hanging from like the balconies and stuff, you know, in the courtyard and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it's just like we just had a large population of different people. So it
Yeah.
just like to me it never felt like adjusting who I was for anything, I guess, you know.
And it's genuine.
It's like when you're
It's
around
like-
everybody, you never think about switching for anyone, I guess. And it's like I think it's like the people who come from a more controlled environment, I
Yeah.
guess, or something, where there's like less diversity and stuff. They tend to not know how to act when they get around people of other races all of a sudden, and they just like they code switch. It was like you were
Yeah.
saying earlier. It's like the code switching type thing. It's
You're-
like and it's very weird in comedy.
You're to me, like if I had to like make like the prototypical cool white guy, that would be you. Like it's like it's because it's no extra. I can read you like, okay, this guy's just
Yeah.
being him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not he's not trying to figure me out or anything. He's just being him. But it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not abrasive. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just cool ass guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like what bad can I say about
it's one
you?
of those things where it's like I think you sort of suffer from the same thing, and I think a lot of comics do. It's like where you just can't help but be yourself,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like I think where it's like yeah, you can't help it, and it's like you're kind of the same way where
Did
it's
he
like you're
like
either
it?
gonna like me for who I
Yeah,
am
man.
or you're not, like you know.
And you gotta understand sometimes
You went on stage
you-
last night and you go, all right, let's get into it.
Let me
and
tell
you're
you how
like,
I
this
am.
is who
Yeah, man.
yeah.
If not, then you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you might not like me on Thursday and I might be the bee's knees on Saturday, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just you gotta take the water with the wine. You
Yeah,
know what
man.
I'm saying? But
So
I don't know
I got
if that's a saying, but
yeah, the water with the wine. Well, we'll wrap this up. I got one more question for you. So I guess I ask everybody this: in 5 to 10 years, what are like some things you would love to do, or where would you love to maybe see yourself, or like, you know, I know it's hard to like. Some people don't even really like vocalizing it always and saying everything that they want to do or that they aspire to, or maybe it's more of a feeling or something inside yourself that you aspire to, or maybe it's things that you would like to achieve that you would like to do.
I literally want to just get to the point where I can give everybody that I want to give something what I want to give them. Like at any point in time, I want to be able to be with my homeboy and I'm like, here go 20,000, here go 100,000, here go a car, here go a house. I might want to see a homeless man and be like, here, man, here go an apartment I paid the rent off for you. Get yourself together. Or my son might just see a car that he thinks so sweet on the internet. And, oh, I just seen DJ Khaled and his dad. And I want to be able to go get that, too. Like, I don't want him to have to look at people on the internet and just always want something that he can never have. I want to be able to, as soon as he like it, come on, let's go get one. You like the Tesla? Let's go get a Tesla. You like the, because that's what everybody else does. Like LeBron doesn't make his kids wait for stuff, and you know what I'm saying, Jay-Z, their kids get whatever they want, and they mama and their friends and they, you know what I'm saying, whoever's around them, they're able to bless them as much as they want to. Like, they might not, but I want to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to be able to ask me and know that I got it and I'm going to give it to them. I want to be the person that they could be dependent on and counted on, like when all else fails, like call Jay Will, he got us. You know what I'm saying? And that's
want to
in the
create that
city,
generational wealth.
or really just world wealth, like to the point where everything is where you can, where I can help you. You know what I'm saying? I can help this part. I can help this part. Like, nobody got to be fucked up. That's how I feel. Like, I don't want nobody to have to be fucked up. I want to at least be able to give you a couple somethings or do something to where you like, oh, yeah, dog, all right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like nobody knows what you got in store for them or how great of a person you plan on being until you actually get the means to be that person.
Yeah, and I think there's no, and I relate with that a lot because I think I've always told my mom, I'm like, if I ever have the money, I want to buy you a house.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's what I plan on doing. Like I've told her since I was a little kid, and it's
Yeah.
like you want to take care of the ones you love while you want to be able to take care of yourself and get the things you want and get the things for the ones you love. You want to be able to take care of them, I think, and take care of other people out there as well, even the ones that you don't necessarily know that you love.
Yeah,
you know?
man, it's just giving gifts and just giving, man, makes you feel good to see somebody face light up because it's something they really wanted or something. That's dope to me. You know what I'm saying? You can't always do it, but you know what I'm saying? When you can, it's like, it's a good feeling. Like to get somebody something they really wanted and they didn't think you was going to get it for them.
Which giving gifts is the perfect way to end this because then we can wrap up by mentioning A Very Hood Christmas coming out November 5th. You want to plug it?
Saturday.
Where can people see it?
We're going to be at the Fairlanes. Was that an AMC or a Star now? Fairlanes, the Fairlane Movie Theater. You know, we'll be there Saturday at 8. The crazy thing is I won't even be at my own premiere. I'll be here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the crazy thing. So you guys go see that. It's like I don't know what to tell you to go see. I don't know if I need you to tell you to come here or tell you to go. Well, I do get a bonus if you come here. So, I mean, I guess, come here. But
is it going to be streaming anywhere?
Yeah, it's going to stream.
Where's it
It's going to be Tubi, Amazon Prime, and all that type of stuff.
Okay. So you can't make it to the
wait,
premiere.
you know what I'm saying? If you can wait, come to the comedy show and then catch it streaming. But, you know, I'm not telling you not to go. If you if you want to go see the movie, it's going to be a great movie. You know what I'm saying? Moolah Films always does great work. So, you know, this Saturday, go check me out. Very Hood Christmas. And, you know, I'm here all weekend at the Detroit House of Comedy. And so far, we've been having a ball. So catch one of these shows. You know, my buddy's going to be there. You know, we got Ronnie Chanel's going to be there tonight. And, you know, we got a lot of just fun things. And I think we have 2 shows Saturday, right?
2 shows Saturday.
2 shows Saturday, 1 show tonight. So you got 3 more chances to see me, you know what I'm saying? So just come on out and support, man. We're going to have fun for sure.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. This is Detroit Comedy Podcast. Jay Will, thanks for doing it. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. See you next time, everybody.